Yo, what's up? Simps, pimps, shrimps, imps, a glimpse into the future. I'm Alex Shamit, and I'm here with the sweaty Italian boys in the background. Check it out. We we are here for the power rankings. Okan, introduce yourself.
Hey guys, it's Daniel here with Blissy. And like I'm wearing so green, so I think my head is floating at the moment. That's cool.
Wait, stand up, stand up. You gotta stand up. I want to see like what the
Well,
rest of
I'm
you look
actually
like.
lying down right now.
Damn, that's tough. That's tough. Mm.
So it comes and goes. Yeah.
No way. Oh, that's so weird.
My face is the good part.
Kind of wild.
Yeah.
I'm YeWen. What's up?
Thanks for introducing yourself.
I don't know what other introduction, what other information you guys need.
I don't know. I usually just
I
kill
have
time
I have
until
an
someone else says something.
yeah. I've got an
This
average
week we
sized
have
penis. Is
yeah.
that something that they need to know?
Probably, definitely not. Definitely.
Well,
You're not a pimp, you're a simp,
100%
so
not.
no.
all right. Well, now they know.
God, let's. This is the power rankings for week 5. As you can see, it's actually week 5 this time. Big ups to me for changing that. I'm a very good admin. One of the best admins you could possibly have. But shit down. You know, let's just fucking get into it. Fuck this shit. All right. Let's go to fucking
Sounds like a plan.
number 12. Number 12 is my little bro, Matthew, the Serbian Scrafties. He lost 2-0 to Sam in a nail biter of a game. Honestly, I would say that not knowing the sets and like not knowing what moves the Pokemon had, this was a pretty close game. I mean, I'm assuming that Galvantula was choice specs at the end, which probably won Sam the game. But outside of basically just letting Gyarados die for no real reason, I don't think Matthew played that poorly. I think investing in a special defensive Staryu was a good move. I don't think Sam saw that coming, and you can kind of tell in what he was doing. I meant Starmie, by the way, my bad. But I think that I honestly do think when Okan put where's defense, I think a lot of it was in just Pokemon that weren't traditionally defensive. I also think that Haxorus had decent defensive utility against Sam's team as long as Clef wasn't in. It could take a few choiced electric type moves from Galvantula and hit back really hard. The only thing about Haxorus was I'm not sure about running Outrage when your opponent has a Clefable on their team. You know, pretty much anytime you click Outrage, you're going to be at a disadvantage at that point. I'm guessing Haxorus was scarfed again because usually Matthew's Haxoruses are, but I could be wrong about that. And again, you guys can go in further after I say this, but my main problem was definitely the Gyarados usage. With how prevalent Stealth Rocks are on Sam's team, you'd think Heavy Duty Boots would probably be the better item for Gyarados to have in that situation. And that really showed. I think it took 50% from Stealth Rocks alone, and it switched in on the move twice. So not only was it taking the 50% of Stealth Rock damage, it was getting hit both times. So Gyarados was kind of wasted. But other than that, I don't think Matthew played too poorly. He's last because he was around last week and he lost again.
I think his big issue was he just didn't have anything at all for Galvantula. Galvantula, looking at like the team preview, it was just, all right, Galvantula is going to click Volt Switch whenever it wants, giving him momentum whenever he wants. There was zero like, hey, Galvantula's not a problem. We don't have to worry about that thing. Who cares about Galvantula? And then it just ended up mollywhopping him at the end.
And I think that is kind of the trap with Galvantula is you pretty much just think about Galvantula as a thing that sets Stealth Rocks at the beginning and then dies. But Galvantula...
We'll pretend you said sticky webs there.
Oh, my bad. I said stuff.
Yeah, he doesn't have any ground types actually.
No,
so
he
any
doesn't.
fast electric type would do the same damage. Like I just want to point out that it happens to be Grimmsnarl this week, but like not Grimmsnarl, sorry, why did I say Grimmsnarl? Galvantula. But like any fast electric type could have done the same, like Jolteon, like what was it, Heliolisk, Tapu Koko if we had that. Yeah, any fast electric type would have done the same.
Yeah. I mean, just the fact that it was I don't think there was anything that outsped the Galvantula outside of Espion.
No,
Yeah.
because
I think that
Starmie
was the
could
only thing
have,
that he
but he
had.
wasn't.
Scarfaxers.
Well, yeah, I'm saying like just naturally without any
Ah,
sort of
true, true.
item. But
Starmie
I think
does, but it
Espion,
was a defensive Starmie. So
yeah, which for while I like specialty defensive Starmie, I don't think it's a good bring against a team that has a Galvantula when you are weak to both of its stabs.
Well, it actually lived the crit bug buzz, which I didn't see coming.
true.
Yeah, but still gets two shot.
True.
Yeah, true.
So
And like when I said where's the defense, like yeah, he had some, but like his team has Ferroturn. And like when Ferroturn is not there, his team doesn't have any defense.
Yeah.
Like
He brought a
you,
very offensive team, for sure.
his team overall is way too offensive, so which makes it kind of hard, kind of easy to prep against. Like this team is too offensive, and like it was a week he didn't have Cinderace and Chandelure. I think like when your two biggest hitters are out and you don't have much defense anyway, it's getting hard.
And like knowing Matthew, he loves Chandelure. So having both of them out and still only losing 2-0 to Sam in a close game, that's
it was a close game.
So let's move on to number 11. And this is actually our biggest faller from this week, which is the Hartford Hustle. If someone else wants to take this one, go ahead.
Yeah, you can go.
All right. So, I mean, this team, just looking at this, it was just Hustle's a bitch, isn't it?
There was no Hustle though.
He had the Drake's missed a bolt beak, I believe, and I don't think Hustle helped that any, unless he wasn't running Hustle on it, which I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, he brought all three of his Hustle mons.
Yeah,
I know that.
I know Flapple just died immediately to Indeedee, and I think that was huge too.
I think that that Indeedee just sets up terrain and nukes the field with expanding force. It dropped a bomb on that Durant there, even though it was resisted, it still just got nuked.
Yeah,
but
I will say I believe Jirachi was fatigued this week, right? It was fatigued going into this week, correct? I will say.
What was fatigued?
Jirachi was, right?
Jirachi is not on.
Jirachi's not on this team.
That's the West Charleston Charizards.
Yeah.
My bad. I would say that having something like Jirachi or having something that in prep like forces Indeedee not to be choiced is like absolutely huge when you're going.
That could have only be Mew, which was fatigued. Yes.
Yeah, that's my bad. I knew he had a counter to it that was fatigued.
Yeah, his best answer was Melton.
Well, his counter was Meltan. That's kind of a fair point to say. I mean, Indeedee absolutely just ripped through his team. That's why, like, when I was facing Paul, it was really important that I had dark types on my team because, like, I didn't even need to like actually bring them, but just having them on my team made it so that Indeedee couldn't be spexed because.
Oh, also the root, which is also fatigued.
Right. And that's just unfortunate. It's the same thing with Galvantula and Matthew's team. There's just nothing that he could have really brought that would have made it not worth being spec'd. So that's just such an easy bring for Paul, and it really showed near the end of this match.
Yeah.
I think one of the weirder turns was whenever he clicked Hyper Voice with the Noctowl. I mean, while I think it's a fine move to bring on it, while there's a Frostlass on your opponent's team, I wouldn't be clicking any normal type moves. I would always be clicking like an Air Slash there just to get damage off.
Right.
For sure.
I mean, you look at the team he brought. I mean, I know this
isn't exactly is interesting. Like, why?
I mean, I know this isn't high level analysis, but the Pokemon he brought just weren't very good. Like he had a Noctowl, a Phalanx, a Meltan. It's going to be kind of hard when you have that many Like you can mix it up with some lower tier Pokemon that don't do as much sometimes, but when your whole team is pretty much comprised of them, it's kind of tough to win a game.
I don't understand why he would click. I think he clicked Throat Chop on the Phalanx as well when he saw the Araquanid in front of him. I don't know if you didn't have any coverage for it, but I still think like a close combat or
close
fighting
combat
move
does
there.
more. I
do more
tried
just
that
because
before
it's
class one
stab.
that does more. Yes.
And he
Yes.
Yeah,
was just
just because
trying to
And
it's
take
like
it
stab.
off at that point, I guess.
much stronger.
Yeah, I guess, but get more damage off. If
Right.
you want to go throat chop, then click a CC so you get the most damage out of it, since you'll probably live one of those
Exactly.
liquidations. But instead, it just clicked Iron Defense and didn't care.
Facts. So yeah, I think that sums
Get
up that
better, Ryan.
game for the most part. We can come back to it a little bit later with Paul in a little bit, but let's move on to number 10. And this was the Westchester Wooloos. We've been on a little bit of a
Westchester.
slide since going 2-1. Okan, you can.
Yeah. He's falling. Like I think he lost 3 weeks in a row now.
Yeah.
And well, I think the thing is his team is really strong, but it's really strong, especially. All of the big threats are like Duraludon, Hydreigon, Toxtricity, Primarina. All of them are specials for Gonzi. And like this week, he couldn't break a Blissey, for example. Blissey was an easy switch into more than 4 of the opposing Pokemon. I mean, even like Mudsdale and Talonflame are not gonna be able to break Blissey easily.
Right. Yeah.
And then looking at the team again, like I don't see like Primarina is the best Dracovish switching on his team, and like Primarina wasn't I think it got more than 50%, so it's not exactly a switching. It wasn't Scarf to Revenge Kill as well, so the prep was also kind of questionable. But like I said, I think the real problem is the team is way too specially offensive, so you can just bring special tanks, a Southwest Pokemon, like anything to counter the team.
Right. Like I can speak to experience. When I fought the Westchester Wooloos, I brought like an assault vest Volcarona, which like any person in their right mind would never do. But against this team, it just makes sense too. I think that another thing about Westchester is that he's so offensive that I mean, every game is basically just going to be decided pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be decided if he can take out that wall in one turn that's preventing his team from winning. And if he can do that, probably going to win. If he can't do that, probably going to lose. This week, he wasn't able to do that early. And I mean, you saw that.
Joys of hyper offense.
I mean, they're
but
fun.
Hyper Offense, it's Hyper Offense that's like speed, kind of. Like he has Talonflame as a fast mon. And I think it falls down to the Hydreigon, right?
I don't.
I'm not
know.
looking at his
Something
team
like
right now.
that.
I'm not looking at his team, and I don't play him this week, so I have no idea what he got.
Yeah, that's exactly true. After Talonflame, the next one is Hydreigon.
But I will say this meta in general is much slower. So
It is.
It's a little bit more acceptable in this meta. Like,
yeah, I agree.
98 is pretty. I think Hydreigon's like
99.
99. Yeah, that's actually
somewhere in there. It's above 95, but below 100. That's what we know.
Yeah, well, I know it outsped Urshifu the week that I was playing him, which is why I know it's like 98, 99. But
yeah,
that's why he also brings a lot of choice.
You could choice scarf that Hydreigon, and then that's a good speed control.
Yeah, he has a lot of good choice users like Hydreigon, Toxtricity, Duraludon, Primarina. All of them are good targets.
Yeah. And then again, this is another one of those matches we'll be getting back into pretty soon. So I'm going to move on to number 9, which is Paul, as we were talking about earlier. Still sucks. But maybe one of you can elaborate on why he doesn't suck as bad.
So you go, please.
Okay, so I don't think it's ever a good idea to bring 2 water types in the same week, like a Basculin and an Araquanid. That's just my personal preference. Clicking X Scissor on it was a baffling maneuver to me. I think Aqua Jet or Liquidation is always a good idea. Araquanid clicking Iron Defense is some cool tech. I still think it's better suited to do other things like click Webs, click Toxic, click Liquidations, because Water Bubble just doubles the damage. You got the win though, which is great, and I think that's more because your opponent had less of a clue. And I don't mean any disrespect by this, but it was a weird game on both sides.
I wouldn't even necessarily say that he didn't have a clue. Again, it was just the team he brought was just full of
It was
really
just
bad.
well, it just didn't prep.
Yeah.
It's just like I didn't. It's just 3 hustle mons and 3 mons that aren't necessarily good.
Right.
You know.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the exact summary, actually.
So
I mean, it was basically a 4v6. Like Meltan did get a kill, but I mean, if you have Meltan and Noctowl on the other team, it's basically a 4v6.
and it was
Exactly.
just the kill it got was just a sack because it was toxic. It had already done enough damage to the Heliolisk. There's no point in switching it, in my opinion. Just it did its job. Break
And I will
something, get
say,
some good damage off.
I will say that, yeah, I mean, the Heliolisk was an interesting kind of, I don't know. It's an interesting
I
option.
liked it. I like the bring. I like bringing Heliolisk. I didn't like how he used it. Clicking Hyper Voice is great. I think early in the game, whenever you see he doesn't really have anything for Volt Switch, which is just kind of free
Right.
against the team, is definitely the move that you should probably click there,
Mhm.
and then go from there. I'm assuming it was either specs. I mean, that's just because, or choice scarf.
I think so. I think it was no, I think it was specs. Yeah. It
Because it was
lower
doing
than Draco's ult. Yeah.
it was doing a lot of damage to the Meltan for it to be scarfed. So I think just clicking Volt Switch there so you can give yourself some momentum probably would have been better. But overall, I mean, you got a solid win against Hartford.
Not a solid team.
But I think just going forward, using more, not necessarily, I'm not saying use basic sets. I'm just saying use sets in the fight. Use moves that are going to benefit you later in the game, like Volt Switch, clicking Aqua Jet or Liquidation with the Basculin. You can always bust out the Iron Defense at Raquanid. I know a fun little set you can use is like Iron Defense, Infestation, Toxic Stall with that thing. If you want to just be a dick with a Raquanid, you can absolutely use that.
I'm just sad that he didn't show up the Porygon set, which was the real star this week.
Yeah, I did like Triple Axel on Frostlass. That's the fact that
I like that
attack
one.
and special attack I think are the same. Using Triple Axel is ballsy, but I like it. And indeed, he's just a monster, and you used it well. So those are 2 really good takeaways.
The Porygon set he brought was okay. I'm gonna talk about Porygon now. The Porygon set he brought was it was Conversion, Gravity, Zap Cannon, and Blizzard. So you basically set up you basically set up Conversion to be electric type to get stab, and then you set Gravity to increase the accuracy, and you have better bolt beam coverage with bolt being stab.
Right.
So it's like you're setting up to turn to do some damage. Exactly.
I think just Bolt Beam's better there.
No. Zap Cannon is better. You get the paralyze.
Right, but how much accuracy boost is Gravity?
167. I think it's like it's 85% accurate Zap Cannon.
Okay, so it's still.
But the thing is, Gravity would make Hustle actually fully accurate.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's great. But
he's helping the opponent.
Yeah, yeah. Like
right,
he's a kind guy.
I think Bolt Beam would have just been better. I like the balls. Of going Zap Cannon, Conversion, Gravity, Blizzard.
Hey, and I will say,
I respect it.
League, like, hey, that's what this league was made for. You know what I mean? I mean, my team is half a Rain team and half a Sun team on the same team. So
you have both Urshifus, don't you?
Okay, yes. It's not my fault that you let me get both of them, but we'll get into that later.
I wasn't here for the first round and a half of the draft, or else I'd have taken one.
That aside, I love the set, Paul. I love anytime you just do something really weird. I love seeing that. So let's go into number 8, which was I honestly like, speaking of sets that I really liked. I think we all do have to talk about Lilligant here, especially as like a lower. There aren't too many lower tier Pokemon that we've seen do really well so far in this league, but Lilligant is definitely like a perfect example of that. I would say another thing that Seattle did really well. I think Westchester could have countered better was the setup with Meowstick, right?
Exactly.
Getting getting both screens up, getting Sunny Day up, and getting all of that for free without any Pokemon dying is, I mean, that's a godsend in
It is.
game against a hyper offense team.
With
And
Prankster, though, it does make it a lot easier to get up to both the screens and the sunny day.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I don't know, like if Sunny Day was that necessary. Since you're gonna quiver dance anyway, you're gonna be faster than everything.
that's fair.
Lilligant's still kind of slow.
No,
I think that
isn't it like 95?
No, it's like
I don't.
closer to 70, 80, I think.
Yeah, it's still a fairly slow mon.
Let me
Lilligant
see.
is.
It's 90. Okay.
90, okay,
Yeah,
faster than I
yeah.
thought. But I would
Yeah, it's
also,
faster than I thought, but it's still.
well, watching the replay the entire time, I was like, why didn't Westchester switch into Talonflame immediately? Was there something I was missing? Like, does Lilligant get Power Gem or something?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. It doesn't get coverage at all.
So why I was just wondering, like, why didn't the Westchester just switch into Talonflame immediately? Was that just a mistake or?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure actually, like Braybird would have killed as well. To be honest, even with
Absolutely,
the
its
reflect.
defenses are terrible.
Yeah, even with reflect, it would have killed.
Okay, so that might have been a mistake on Westchester's
But still,
part.
like I don't think he calced and thought like the Toxicity would die. To be honest, when I saw that, I was surprised. I didn't expect that to happen.
Do we
I mean,
know
it's
if the
true, but
Lilligant
at the
was
same
chloroform,
time,
by
I
the
feel
way?
I would rather have
Yeah,
Talonflame. Like, I would rather have Talonflame die. If you're thinking like, I don't know, that move didn't make sense to me, but I would still give props to Seattle for
Absolutely.
like setting up and like having clearly he had a game plan before this match started, and he did a very good job of executing that game plan.
I just want to say, like, I think he won on the prep. Like,
Yeah.
looking at it, like I said, I don't see, when I look at the matchup, I don't see any answers to Dracovish. I don't see anything that can break the Blissey. Like, even Mandibuzz could have answered to a lot of things. Like, I think he won on the prep easily.
Right, and I think this was a huge match for him too, because he started off really well, and then he lost to 3 in a row right after that. So this match was definitely going to determine if he was back in that upward trajectory or if he was going 1-4. Which, I mean, the difference between 2-3 and 1-4 right now is huge.
It is.
I think we have all but 5 teams are 2-3 right now. So
Yeah,
being
exactly.
part of that group and not being one of the 2 teams that's 1-4 was like an absolutely huge win.
Yeah.
And we already talked about this game a little bit before, so I think we're good to move on to number 7, which is Bryce of the Salisbury Snorlax. I can talk about this game.
Sure.
I'll be honest, like I didn't really move Bryce in my standings at all from last week because we literally just picked 6 random Pokemon and had them fight each other. One thing I will say that Bryce didn't particularly do well is that my Pokemon that killed his entire team was a water fighting type, and he had a water flying type on his team. I mean, he did have Cramorant on his team, and I feel like he could have used that as like a defensive wall. I was very scared of that coming into the match, but I was very relieved when he didn't really use it at all. I mean, he kind of sacked it off very early. So that would be the one play that I would say maybe I would have moved him down for. But I mean, in the end, he has Toxapex on his team, and our team were randomized, so he didn't bring it. Like, I can't really move Bryce down because he didn't bring him on because he didn't get it randomly generated.
Yeah, I mean, had he gotten the Toxapex, that Urshifu would not have run a train through him.
I think he used Cramorant pretty well, actually. Like, but you had answers to it. You had so many answers to Cramorant, actually.
I would have just kept him alive so that he could, because I didn't have Stealth Rocks. If I had Stealth Rocks up, I would see it, but if he just kept him alive for the whole match, I feel like a lot of those kills that Urshifu got on switch-ins would not have been kills.
But wait a second, like, didn't Urshifu killed Cramorant, actually?
No, Aromatisse did. That was actually the only Pokemon that Urshifu didn't kill.
But, like, wait, he switched in and Urshifu dealt like 90% to Cramorant. And then you swapped Urshifu out.
I'm saying like I would have just ran like a completely defensive set. So like when
Oh yeah.
when Bryce was facing against Rillaboom in week 1 against Paul, one thing I really liked that he did was he brought Togekiss, but it was like 252 HP, 252 defense, and like plus. And then because of that, like Rillaboom couldn't even two-shot it with the grassy slide, which I thought was
Were you
because it really hampered Paul's best.
Scarf or Bandit
I was what are you talking about?
with Urshifu?
I was banded.
Wait, not this Urshifu, the other Urshifu.
Yeah,
I'm trying to do a calc right now. So sorry.
I can
like even the bold fully defensive one is 2-hit KO, but surging strikes.
Really? Wow. Okay, Urshifu maybe.
Bandit.
Urshifu is just unfair, but
Definitely.
Yeah,
a little, just a little.
Having Cramorant alive, even if it does two-shot with surging strikes, like it means that I have to be using surging strikes when I'm in. You know what I mean? So like
close combat also 2-hit KOs.
Close combat. Oh my god, dude! Why is that thing so good? Well, maybe there wasn't anything Bryce can do. I mean, again, I didn't move him down at all, but it sounds like there just wasn't really much he could have done in retrospect.
He would have needed a Toxapex.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's just kind of a toughie. That's kind of a toughie.
It is.
So not really much else to say there. Urshifu just wrecked his whole team. Let's just move on to the biggest riser this week. I'm sure there's going to be a lot less messages in the power rankings chat this week than last week. I think.
Are you sure about that?
But no, I mean, I'm glad that I have to say, I do just want to say, like, I am so happy that, like, and YeWen, you can talk about this match specifically, but I just want to talk about everything surrounding the power rankings from last week a little bit. I'm so happy that he called us out, said that he deserved to be higher, and then just went out and proved it 2 weeks in a row. Like, I think that is such like an awesome thing that happened, and I'll be honest, like I just think that's a cool storyline. Say what happened more specifically in the match.
The underdog.
Yeah, 4-0 doesn't necessarily show how close the game was. I think the Mienshao was on 1%, so it died on entry because of the spikes, and then Raichu was at like 20%, and I don't remember what his last one was. Salazzle was also like on 20% as well, so he was bleeding. And then the Aurora Veil was very nice. I didn't have a Corviknight anymore to get rid of that, so I was trying to outlast that the Aurora Veil with the Jirachi. And I think had I tried to keep the
Milotic.
No, at the end there, whenever I just had Mimikyu, Jolteon, and Mamoswine, I think if I had kept the Mamoswine alive, I think I would have been okay. But
right. I think that's true, and I do think he had some good strats mixed in there.
He did. He played a very solid game, was able to control the pace of the game with Aurora Veil there. I don't think bringing he brought an Icy Rock instead of Light Clay, which I didn't understand that one too much.
I didn't
on
understand that either.
On the Ninetales.
I noticed that when you knocked it off. I didn't understand that either. I also didn't 100% understand I love the Subtoxic Salazzle set, but when your opponent has Hyper Voice,
but like, how much would you talk against like Hyper Voice?
Every time I've brought Jolteon, I've brought Hyper Voice. So
because Jolteon doesn't really have many other moves. Like
it's gonna bring it.
That's true. That's true. Like it doesn't have any other moves, but like Salazzle was solid against a lot of things. Like
no, it was. It definitely
was. I think it was a great bring. I just don't know if I would have subbed.
That's what I love that set. Like I do love that set, but I would have.
He didn't know Hyper Voice goes through sub. By the way. He learned it during the game.
He learned that during the game? Yeah. That's a hard lesson to learn. That's a hard lesson to learn. Like, oh,
okay. Well, if you didn't know that, then I understand. But that is something you have to know. You know, I mean,
Bug buzz.
Yeah.
Sound moves go through sub.
The move I can criticize is saving the Mian show, to be honest.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it had 1% health, and like I know it's gonna get regenerator, but the opponent has Mamoswine and Mimikyu. Both has strong priority that's gonna kill after even you get the regen back. So I think he could have just let it go and then brought in the what was
Take
it?
your pick.
Ninetales.
So take your pick, really. Jirachi or
Yeah.
Ninetales would have been fine.
And I
Yeah,
will say,
then
he uses Ninetales better than I ever did. I could never figure out how to get alone Ninetales to work.
yeah, he's really
And
good with Ninetales actually.
he's
The
even
Ice Rock
his
thing
losses,
was
he's gonna
Freeze
be-
Dry was doing I think like 2-hit KO to Milotic or 3-hit KO. Like it
Probably.
kind of needed the buff with in order to be doing real damage to Milotic. I think that was the Ice Rock.
And I will say, momentum is definitely on their side, but the only reason we don't have him ranked higher is because this is really weird with how our standings have been so far. But did you know that he's still sixth in the division, which is crazy? I mean, that shows how competitive that division is.
Yeah.
He, based on head-to-head and differential, he's still sixth in the division, not in the playoffs, which would be an absolute travesty if he didn't make the playoffs after beating.
No. Even the sixth gets in the playoffs. No
No,
one is out.
He's below. It's the top five. I'll make it, and sixth doesn't make it.
No. Top 2 does it, and 3, 6, 4, 5 plays. The doc is wrong.
Wait, what?
Yeah, top 2 gets a bye week.
Yeah.
2, 3, and like 3, 4, 5, 6 plays playoffs first round.
Oh, so everyone gets
Otherwise,
in?
you have a team missing. Yeah, everyone gets in.
Oh,
So it's
I didn't even know that.
regular season is just like we're special Olympics.
oh, okay.
I didn't even know that.
No one gets in.
I thought it was okay. I thought it was
Special Olympics.
bye and one team misses in both.
That's what I thought.
We were thinking about that, and like we were gonna do 14 teams in the beginning, and that's like how we planned. But when we dropped to 12 teams, so no one is out now.
I'm not saying I'm not gonna try because I like winning games, but I'm gonna be less concerned if I lose games now because of that knowledge.
You want to
I
be
did not know
in the
that.
top 2 of the division to get a bye week.
I mean, I wouldn't mind
That's
that,
the thing.
but still.
Neither would I.
Like top 2 gets the bye, 3 and 4 gets no fatigue in the first game of playoffs.
That is actually huge.
So like 5 and 6 are gonna have fatigues in their games.
Yeah, whoever's
not
fatigued,
example.
whoever's fatigued in their game is gonna be fatigued. I got you.
So like kind of all the standings matter, but like not as much.
That is huge. Just not having to play week 1 and reveal your strats and all that's going to be important. So hopefully this team can keep this momentum going and get a few more wins so it can have a better chance of continuing to upset those teams in the playoffs, and to a point where maybe it's not an upset anymore. You know what I mean? Maybe you got to stop calling it an upset.
Yeah, for sure.
So moving on to some of those teams that you might be upsetting, we're now in the teams with the winning records. And the first one of those that we have is the Windsor Wigglytuff, which I believe one of us had ranked first.
My opponent.
I believe Ocon had her ranked first last week. So
yeah, I did. I still think her team is really strong, but I was lucky enough to play her when she didn't have her heavy hitters. She didn't have Zeraora, she didn't have Gardevoir or Ferrothorn or Skarm or something like that.
Zeraora would have been a problem this week.
Yeah,
exactly. Zeraora is a problem. I am under the opinion, and Ocon knows because I've had Zeraora multiple times. I think it's one of the most underrated Pokemon in the game. I think we should have put it up there with the 17, 18s. And I think that's one reason why I've had Fuzzlekins ranked lower is because I think without Zeraora, her team is a completely different team than it is with it. I think she relies on Zeraora a fair amount, which is okay. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, that's her speed. The entire speed tier is Zeraora. Like after that, yeah, she has some fast moves, but that's another level,
And you can talk more about how you prepped for her differently because she didn't bring it this week if you want, Ocon.
Yeah, exactly. Like she didn't have a lot of strong mounts against me. Like She didn't have Zeraora, Skarmory, or Gardevoir, which all of them were good against actually Dragapult, you know. And without them, actually the Magnezone, we're gonna talk about me later. She didn't have too much against me. Like I think she really had a terrible matchup. Like I think Dragapult had a really great matchup. I can say that 5 of my mons had really really great matchups. Like which one of these mons can stand against a setup cloister? So I was thinking like if I don't let Slurpuff set free, I win instantly. And I'm generally nervous about my games. I never think like okay I'm gonna win, but like this week I thought I was gonna win easily because I think I really had a really good matchup. So I understand, and she made it much closer than I expected.
I was very curious as to why she didn't bring setup Slurpuff, if I'm honest. Because
me too.
What on your team
webs
stopped it?
She wanted the webs, but like I didn't. My best option was saving the Magnezone until the end. Like it was sturdy.
Punch? I guess sturdy, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what moves did she have on the Heracross?
Rock Blast, knockoff, close
combat, and
I don't think bug move.
She had a bug moving.
Earthquake.
Earthquake?
Yeah, Earthquake, yeah.
Because if she would click Mega Horn at the end there, she might have won. Because it would have died.
No. It wasn't one-shotting the Dragapult. Even knockoff wasn't one-shotting Dragapult, actually.
Another thing that I would say in this situation is that when you recognize, I feel like when you recognize that you have a bad matchup, you have to just go for some cheese and just hope you get it.
That's true.
I don't necessarily think that she did that enough. Like if I were her in this game, I would have just brought Stealth Rocks to take out Focus Sash and then just try to set up with Slurpuff and just hope you can just cheese out a win. But
you know, one dangerous mon she could have had was actually Rock Polish Rhydon.
Yeah, or
would have been
something along those lines. I think she played her team maybe a little safe. I don't want to say too safe because I think Choice Scarf on Heracross was a great move. And I think that consistently week to week, Fuzzlekins definitely has at least one set where I'm like, wow, I was like, I never would have thought of that. That's a really good set that I would not have brought myself. And I think that was Heracross for me this week, but I think she definitely could have taken more risks just considering how bad her matchup was against you. Just maybe make some like stupid thing happen or something.
Exactly.
So I didn't falter too much, but you could have done maybe a little bit more. So let's move on to number 4. Who is look at that.
Hey, this guy.
Number 4. YeWen, what's your opinion on this? What do you think happened this week? Want to hear the whole thing.
I lost Corviknight early. Kind of had to sack the Corviknight in an awkward spot. I didn't want to because I knew Jirachi's a friggin' problem, and I hate Jirachi. Jirachi gives me PTSD when it comes to games because I lost the game to 6 consecutive flinches to a Jirachi, and I wanted to blow my brains out. So anytime I see that, I'm just like, mother. Yeah. Misplayed the ending a bit there when I had just 3 mons left because everything on his team was just bleeding. But he got that Orville up at the end there, which was very solid on his part. Jolteon's always going to have specs just because it doesn't have coverage moves.
You could have got cheese like Magnetize and then Toxic Sub Protect.
Sure, I could do that, but Jolteon's still going to mollywop me with an Iron Head, and I can't Toxic that thing. So.
Sure. I'll be honest. I would not listen to Okan. Okan is very biased with this kind of stuff. He brought Stall Pulp 4 out of 5 times or something like that.
Yeah, you can use Sub Toxic and Protect on everyone.
Yeah, you can use Sub-Toxic Protect on just about everything. Some things do it better than others for sure.
Like Salazzle, who was
Como was actually really good one to use that on too. Salazzle's the best. Salazzle's the best because it could run Black Sludge.
Yeah. Right. Salazzle is the best.
Everything, and it's fast.
Can't be poisoned back.
It's ridiculous.
Really, yeah.
So, but yeah, he played a solid game. Yeah, he played a very solid game. And I mean, hey, good job to him. I feel like I just effed up at the end there was all.
I think you could
Yeah,
have said Milotic better, to be honest.
Uh, I don't
I
remember how I
wasn't.
lost my Lodic.
You
I
lost it
also
to
think for you,
Raichu.
Komodo would have been a shout. I think you should just bring Komodo every week you can. I mean, granted, I'm probably biased because it destroyed me, but
Listen, I meticulously plan ahead my weeks on what I'm bringing and what I'm not bringing to avoid fatigue
sure.
because I don't like having things yellowed out because I want my opponents to be afraid of what he could bring anything this week. Just like going into this coming week, I don't think I have anything fatigue this coming week. And so Sam has to be aware of everything on my team, and especially because there's a bye week coming up afterwards with the All-Star break, I can bring everything and not have to worry about fatigue.
Oh
And
wait,
I
is that how
carefully,
that works?
meticulously planned this.
Let's go. I
Yeah.
did not know that was
Yeah.
how it worked.
So,
You know a lot about your league for a month.
so me not bringing Como this week is so that way Sam can sweat about it. Me not bringing it or bringing it next week. Am
That
I or
does
am I
make
not? Who
sense.
knows? We'll find out on Wednesday whenever I fight him. But
Komodo is a scary
so
man.
it is, and
Man,
it would have done absolute work here. But I think with what I had, I should have been okay. But I had a couple missteps there, and he played a very solid game and fucked up at the end. Almost brought choice scarf Mamoswine. Probably should have, just because at the end it would have made things a lot easier for me. Just click earthquake and kill everything.
right.
But
Yeah.
I liked having I ran expert belt on it this week because that extra damage is always nice. Whenever you hit super effective moves, and it had a pretty good matchup this week. But
Yeah.
say Levy,
And you're still fine. I mean, you're
I'm
still
still
number 4 in
fine.
the
Yeah,
power rankings. I'm pretty sure you still have a first round bye. So
I
again,
know
it's
I'm
not
three
a
and
big
two.
deal.
I know I'm
Winning,
3-2. So that's all that
yeah,
matters.
yeah. I mean, playing the game against Sam next week is going to be huge. We thought it was going
It'll
to
be
be the
fun.
undefeated teams playing against each other, but
I,
it's still
I
a
didn't think
huge
I was
game.
gonna make it to be undefeated. I figured I'd lose. I figured I would lose to this guy because he had a Jirachi and only because he had a Jirachi.
Jirachi is
Just a fact.
and I mean that was probably the steal of the draft as well because Jirachi was picked up in like the next to last round or something like that.
No,
So
no, no. He didn't. He traded for it during the grace period.
right, so that was a great steal. The fact that no one else picked that with the gluttony of points that we all have is crazy.
The fact that I forced him to pick it, it's crazier. I was like,
I think
please pick Raichu.
I think my favorite play during that game though was whenever he had tricked my Lodic the choice scarf. I went into Scolipede like
Right.
he's got a flame orb. He's gonna want to trick this to me so he can burn my Scolipede. And I'm like, nah, give me my flame orb back. Went back into the Milotic. That just amused me.
That
That
was
that was a good play.
That was amusing to me. But I was
I
like,
will
all
say I
right,
had Trick Exatu like all of last year, and Trick is just a fun move, man.
it
Like
is. It
it's
is.
a lot of mind games. But we got to get moving on. I was supposed to leave a few minutes ago, so no,
Solid.
we're late to things
Yeah.
here, but it's all right. It's all right. Moving on to number 3. Another
Hey,
one
look at that.
of the men sitting right before you, Okan. Why don't you give yourself the rundown?
Like I said earlier, I had a pretty good matchup, and like I was thinking I was gonna win with Charizard. Beldrum Charizard was actually my win condition this week. Sub Beldrum select very set, but like who would have known Heracross could have hold choice scarf, you know? But after that, like I said, I mean, I'm proud of my Magnezone sets, which actually countered almost everything in his team. Her team, like 1v1 everything. The body press, iron defense, Magnetrice set. So, yeah, I think I had a pretty good matchup, and like, who knew Dragapult can pull off an offensive choice set, like
Weird,
at some
weird.
point, I was like, okay, I can use the good old tried and new the sub disable set, but like I said, like I'm gonna be crazy. And then Cloister was actually my defensive one this week, and Cloister was also good, like teleport set. Cloister knows teleport. Did you know that?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
can
Well, I use
teleport
teleport
up.
all the time, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's weird, but useful, kind of useful, because everyone expects Cloister to set up like that one set, Shell Smash and something. But Cloister can be now good spike setter. It can go boom, it can go teleport, it can go
It's a
boom,
very
it
good
can go
spike
poof.
setter for sure.
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah,
I think just the matchup was enough for me to win.
and I will say in general, I think you've been using Charizard very well over the past like 3 or 4 weeks when you brought it. I'm a little mad about that because I really wanted Charizard and I was hoping you would suck with it and give it to me eventually. But I think you've been using it to a point where it legitimately helps your team every week. And so getting that out of like a 7 or 8 point mon is absolutely huge.
I never lost with Charizard.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I mean.
I'm 3-2 and like never lost with Charizard because Charizard is the OPest mon.
It's great. Honestly, it's very good. YeWen, do you have anything to add?
I don't. I covered most of what I had on this earlier whenever we first discussed it.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Let's go to the number 2.
Yeah, I figured he would have more to say since this was his side of it, so I figured I'd let him explain
Yeah.
more. But I gave most of my 2 cents on it previously.
Facts.
Number 2 guy sucks though.
Yeah, that is fair. I mean, I don't know. Either way, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, well, speaking about giving our side of battle and having us be the subject of these for the third time in a row, it's one of us, and it's me at number 2. I don't know why he said try to lose. I tried very hard to win this match. I will say,
you tried to lose.
Like, I have been just getting absolutely carried by my team this year. Like the Urshifus, not even my team, just like the Urshifus. I'm pretty sure in total I have like 30 kills and they have like 17 of them. Like they are I'm pretty sure they're 2 of my only 3 Pokemon that are even like positive differential. And the 1 week I didn't bring either of them, I got swept. So like it's honest. Yeah. That's added salt because you stole him from me in the draft. That was totally gonna be my like second pick, and then you stole him.
Yeah, well, you stole my first pick, so.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. No, that's
Get
fair.
over
it. But yeah, I basically with my team, and it showed this week. It's like if Urshifu just carries me, then I'm probably gonna win, and if Urshifu doesn't carry me, I'm probably gonna lose. And yeah, Urshifu's just carried me pretty much every week except for the week where I got swept and I didn't bring him. Aromatisse, I will say Aromatisse is great for me. Like
Aromatisse did so much work.
I didn't think I would use
finest?
it at all, but it's literally like the only defensive Pokemon on my team, and it's so great on both ends that it's like, and it's a wish passer, so it heals the Urshifus up whenever I want it to. That Aromatisse is essential for my team to work. I would.
You made a ballsy move in this game when you switched in your Bisharp on that Talonflame and it clicked Brave Bird instead of Flare Blitz. I was like, aight.
It wasn't as bold as you'd think because I was sashed. But
I mean, still though, you could catch a burn.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's definitely true.
Does it have like a 30% chance to burn?
It honestly kind of was. My entire goal with that was just to get Talonflame within range for Urshifu to kill with Aqua Jet, honestly. Like when I say my entire game plan just revolves around killing things with Urshifu, like I do, like the other Pokemon on my team are freaking worthless. Like I'll throw them in the trash to
how dare you say that about Bisharp? It is a great mod.
Nah.
You can. He had a lot of great mons like Venusaur or King
solid.
Pelipper are not bad. Like
it's so many different weather Pokemon on your team. I'm like, you need to just make up your damn
solid.
Mind.
Like solid mons, bad synergy.
Weirdly enough, for Venusaur, like the 1 week I actually used it, what I was supposed to be used for, it sucked. When I used it as a sun setter, it sucked. But when I used it as like a bulky defensive thingy, it's like really good. So maybe I should just keep doing that.
When you brought it as a sun setter, I knew that was the only thing you had though. So because you didn't have Urshifu, so it wasn't really hard to counter.
That's fair.
Just picked a bad week to do it.
Just use it in rain, like with Weather Bolt counter fire types.
Perfect.
Why not?
Right. Okay. I will note that and completely ignore it and use the Urshifus from now on.
Thank you. Yeah. You can use both of them next week.
What's up?
You know, they're not. You can use both of them next week.
Yeah,
They're
you
not
can.
gonna get fatigued anyway.
That's facts. Oh, I'm going. Who am I facing next week?
Let me see the lucky guy. Wait.
Hold on. Let's see who I'm facing next week.
Schedule.
I think it's the Wigglytuffs. Okay, just letting you know,
Yeah.
Buckskins,
Sorry, Fuzzle.
if you're watching this, I will bring both of the Urshifus next week. Don't even worry about. I will bring them, and that's a guarantee. So if you want to try to prep for them, I would love to invite you to do so.
Bring a
But
fairy.
yeah. Moving on to
Bring a
number
physically
one.
defensive fairy. Hey.
Yep, and
Good
moving on to
feed.
number one, the man that I am scared of personally
You don't
is
got to play him next week.
yeah,
No, you
everyone.
gotta be
got him.
scared of
Scared to
Sam.
go up against Sam. Everyone's scared to go up against Sam. Maybe not Okan. Maybe not Okan.
No.
I mean, Okan did beat him, but
I'm winning against him in the regular seasons and losing him into playoffs.
yeah, Sam does save a lot.
In regular season, I'm not scared.
Sam saves a lot of his tricks for the playoffs, which causes him. I remember one year he was like 3-5 to start the regular season, and he just won. I'm pretty sure he still won. It's because Sam is a lot like the Patriots in football. If you watch football, he saves a lot of his best sets and best stuff for the playoffs. I'm not gonna lie. I don't mean to discredit Matthew or anything, but I feel like that could have possibly been the case here with a few of his Pokemon. It seems like Sam was almost kind of coasting this game. It was another game where Sam was you could just tell like he thought he was going to win the game coming into it, and he played like he thought he was going to win the entire game. But one thing I will say, he had some really good sets. Psychic Dragalge was great prep considering Matthew usually choices his Pokemon, so Espeon would probably be choiced into a move. You could probably predict that he was going to switch into a psychic move. And what I really think won him the game and what I loved was choice specs on Galvantula. I think Sam noticed that there was not really like in DD with Paul earlier. Sam kind of noticed that there wasn't too much on Matthew's team that could switch into a specs, like a specs move from Galvantula. I know it's kind of easy sometimes to fall into the trap of just it's the sticky web Pokemon. You set up sticky webs every game and don't do anything else. Sam did a really good job of getting away from that, noticing a weakness in Matthew's team and prepping accordingly.
I think with this game, I know 2-0 seems close, but it wasn't really it didn't seem like a close 2-0 to me. It seemed like Galvantula was in position to do what it's supposed to do. I mean, sometimes the ending result doesn't really show how close or not close the game was, and this is one of those where it looked a lot closer on paper like this than it did in the game, because once he brings out that Galvantula, there's all right, there's nothing he could really do from this point on, because it's a GG at that point once Galvantula hits that field at the end.
For me, it was like either choice Galvantula was gonna win or choice Hector's was gonna win, but like choice Galvantula had better support around it.
Yeah.
So
Choice
like
tough. They have,
Matt only had choice Hexers to have a chance against him.
Yeah.
I think he needed to take out the Clefable. Matthew needed to take out the Clefable if he had any chance of winning, and
for sure.
It didn't happen. So that's.
Let's go to the MVP now.
Yep, it's a pretty straightforward game. Now this is going to be kind of a controversial MVP. I don't necessarily agree with this, but the MVP of this week was Saria the Lilligant on.
I'll tell you why I gave my vote to this after you guys give your two spiels, because I know one of you picked Urshifu and the other one picked Lilligant.
Okay, now
Go ahead.
Admittedly, you know what? Let's turn this into like a debate. I would love to turn this into a debate.
Sure.
Personally, granted, I'm probably a homer because it's on my team, but I will say I was the one that picked Urshifu, mainly just because nobody else on my team really did anything. Like Urshifu pretty much it killed 5 Pokemon, and the one Pokemon it didn't kill, it did 90% to it. So Urshifu basically soloed his team, and I think Lilligant died at the end, which is kind of a negative for me. I mean, I know maybe it's not because the match was already over.
It died to Life Orb.
I also think that it got a few of its kills just due to a misplay from the Wooloos not sending in the Talonflame immediately. So, in my opinion, Urshifu was the MVP, but I would love to hear why. I love the lower tier Pokemon getting the spotlight, so I'd love to hear why
And that's why I picked Lilligant, because we know Urshifu is supposed to do Urshifu things like blow through your opponent's team. Lilligant's a trash Pokemon. Let's be real. It's not a good Pokemon. It's pretty dog shit. And he got the most out of this thing. The other pick that I had in my head for MVP was a Galvantula, because it's just like, all right.
That's fair.
That was the other one that I considered as well. But Lilligant here is just like, yeah, this thing's not supposed to be good. It's pretty universally looked at as bad.
Trash. Yeah.
And justifiably so.
This is the first league I saw Lilligant getting drafted.
And it one-shot a poison type.
It's one-shot a dragon type. It also killed Hydreigon with one.
Yeah, it just
you know, like
nuked it. Well, that's that you expect, right? You expect Hydreigon to die to a bug move at +1 like that, because
it did injure a Pokemon though. That is huge, injuring a Pokemon like that.
Yeah,
definitely.
just dropped a nuke on it. Like, oh shit! No
So,
Lilligant can do that.
And there is
you gotta respect
hurting something. You know what I mean? Like that's a big that's just a big power move. Just hurting one of your opponent's best Pokemon. That's huge.
Brought the pain.
That's why I never set up, stat rocks so like I can one-shot things. But never happened before. Maybe I should use more offensive mons. I don't know.
Dopult's not one-shotting much.
Yeah, that's why I gave it to Lilligant over Urshifu. Urshifu I expect to just dog some cheeks, but and especially in a game where you guys randomized your teams, and he just didn't have any. He didn't have anything for it too.
Yeah.
He didn't have anything for it because the RNGesus said no, you don't get Toxapex this week for this Urshifu, and so
exactly.
He just went in. Lilligant, it's like.
Did you have Zen Headbutt for just in case he brought it? Toxapex?
We randomized our teams. Like we. Oh wait,
no,
you know
the team.
No, you're right. I think I did. I had Thunder Punch. I'm sorry, I had Thunder Punch.
Okay.
You answered.
Still, I mean, I would have had to have read the Toxapex switch in, and that would have been a whole other thing. Like it would have definitely made it harder.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah. Like Rocky Helmet's Toxapex could have been so good.
Yeah,
potentially,
especially
Surgeon Strikes, that'd have hurt.
Yeah, that would have. I mean, I don't. Yeah, it would have been really a counter to it. But that ends our. And I'll side with Lilligant on this one. You're right. The randomizing the teams thing definitely did help more so than like just the Pokemon itself. So I could see that. But that wraps up this week's power rankings. I think this is by far the longest one we've had so far. Hopefully we can have more of y'all on as guests in the future. YeWen, it was great having you on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely were more insightful than I was on a lot of matches.
You gave me the idea to rank the guests on the rankings from now on.
Bet we'll have a guest power rankings. We'll send that out.
Sure. That's the last week.
Rankings.
Yeah.
You know what? We'll have like a power rankings. So it'll be like me.
There we go.
Exactly.
Who the best guest was at the end of the season? Like
I'm down.
That guy.
I'm gonna make that tab later then. But aside from that, look out for that. See what I think about YeWen as a person in the chat, and I guess that is it. Thank y'all for simping, and have a great No Simp September.